Barcelona, more than just a city, shaped by architecture, alive through its streets, and opening out to the Mediterranean. Today, we're exploring the 10 most iconic stops of this city, through its streets, its architecture, and its views. Ready? Let's begin. Welcome to the City Bucket List. In each episode, we explore a new city, discovering its most iconic places. With illustrated maps, I share must-see locations and little travel tips that make exploring easier. Every story is an inspiring city adventure. Before we begin our route, let's take a quick look at Barcelona. The capital of Catalonia, a Mediterranean city where history and modern life exist side by side. Barcelona has a richly layered past, from the Roman era to modernism. The city's layout is remarkably clear. Medieval streets in Barri Gothic, old port areas opening toward the sea, and the orderly grid of Eixample are seamlessly connected. This structure makes Barcelona easy to explore on foot. Rather than revolving around a single center, each neighborhood reveals a different side of the city. Our first stop, La Rambla, Barcelona's most iconic pedestrian boulevard. It begins at Plaça de Catalunya and stretches all the way to Port Vell, connecting the city from the hills down to the sea. La Rambla is the most visible stage of Barcelona's public life. On one side, Barri Gòtic, on the other, El Raval, linking two very different urban worlds. Travel tip. Where La Rambla meets the sea, the Columbus Monument rises above the harbor. Built in 1892, it symbolizes Barcelona's historical connection to Christopher Columbus's journey to the Americas. Our second stop, Barcelona Cathedral. Located in the heart of Barri Gòtic, the cathedral was built between the 13th and 15th centuries, a key example of Catalan Gothic architecture. The main facade you see today came later, completed in the 19th century in a neo-Gothic style, based on the design of architect Josep Oriol Mestres. Travel tip. Step into the inner courtyard. 13 white geese live here, a living symbol of Saint Eulalia, the cathedral's patron saint, representing the age at which she was martyred. Our third stop, Palau de la Música Catalana. Designed in 1908 by architect Lluís Domènech i Montaner, it is one of the most important works of Catalan modernism and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Unlike classical concert halls, the Palau was designed with light at its core. At the center, an inverted glass dome brings daylight directly into the auditorium, an idea far ahead of its time. Travel tip. Late morning visits offer the best light. As the sun rises higher, the colors of the glass ceiling begin to shift across the auditorium. Our fourth stop, Barcelona's Waterfront. Once the city's old port, Port Vell was transformed ahead of the 1992 Olympic Games, reconnecting Barcelona with the sea. Barceloneta, planned in the 18th century for port workers, is defined by its straight streets and shoreline layout. Travel tip. Walk along the coast to read the city's modern urban vision, and if the weather allows, join locals for a swim. Our fifth stop, Casa Batlló. Designed between 1904 and 1906 by Antoni Gaudí, the project transformed an existing building, inside and out. The aim was clear, to create a residence that would stand apart along Passeig de Gràcia. Balconies resemble masks. The roof curves like a dragon's back, a reference to the legend of Sant Jordi, the patron saint of Catalonia. Travel tip. The lower floors were designed as a private residence, while the upper levels were planned as luxury rental apartments. Our sixth stop, Casa Milà, also known as La Pedrera. Designed between 1906 and 1912 by Antoni Gaudí, the building stands on Passeig de Gràcia as a modern residential project, combining private apartments with rental units. Its undulating stone facade gave the building its name, La Pedrera, meaning the stone quarry. Thanks to a steel frame, interior spaces could be planned freely, an approach far ahead of its time. The rooftop terrace is its most striking feature. Chimneys and ventilation towers become sculptural forms, turning function into architecture. Travel tip: look into the inner courtyards. They were designed to draw light and air deep into the building. Our seventh stop, Sagrada Família, Barcelona's most powerful symbol and one of the largest basilicas still under construction. Antoni Gaudí began working on the project in 1883. 3 facades shape the building: the Nativity, the Passion, and the Glory, each representing a different chapter of Christianity. Inside, there is no traditional Gothic layout. Columns branch like trees, and the structure is derived directly from nature. Travel tip: Gaudí designed the basilica using physical models and inverted chain systems. Today's digital models are a direct continuation of these original methods. Our eighth stop, Park Güell. Designed between 1900 and 1914 by Antoni Gaudí, the site was originally planned as a garden city. When the project failed, the area was preserved as a public park. Here, architecture and landscape are inseparable. Flowing benches, colorful mosaics, and the iconic dragon express Gaudí's dialogue with nature. Travel tip: look closely at the mosaics. They're made from reused ceramics, a technique known as trencadís, a defining feature of Catalan modernism. Our ninth stop, Museu Nacional d'Art de Catalunya, simply MNAC. Located on Montjuïc, it occupies the Palau Nacional, built for the 1929 International Exposition. MNAC holds the most comprehensive collection of Catalan art, from the Middle Ages to the 20th century. Its highlight? The Romanesque frescoes, carefully relocated from remote churches and preserved here. Travel tip: step onto the front terraces. From here, Barcelona unfolds below, planned, ordered, and open. Our 10th stop, the Fundació Joan Miró. Located on Montjuïc, the museum opened in 1975 and was designed by architect Josep Lluís Sert. Inside, you'll find paintings, sculptures, sketches, and experimental works by Joan Miró. Travel tip: the museum was planned while Miró was still alive. He wanted his work to be experienced in dialogue with light and landscape, not inside an isolated white cube. We've completed our route, but Barcelona can never be told through just 10 stops. These places are only a beginning, a way of reading the city through its many layers. Food culture and market life come together at Mercat de la Boqueria. Public space reveals its transformation at Parc de la Ciutadella, once a military site, now a city park. Plaça Reial captures the rhythm of everyday life, framed by arcades and Gaudí-designed lampposts. Football becomes part of urban identity at the Camp Nou Barça Museum. Street art and political expression emerge through contemporary exhibitions across the city. Art unfolds everywhere, from Picasso's early years at the Museu Picasso to contemporary works around the Museu d'Art Contemporani de Barcelona and at the Pavelló Mies van der Rohe, where space, material, and emptiness are reduced to their purest form. For centuries, Barcelona has been shaped by art and design. In painting and sculpture, Miró and Picasso. In architecture, Gaudí and Domènech i Montaner. Food sits at the center of everyday life. Tapas reflect sharing. Pa amb tomàquet, simplicity. Paella, Mediterranean heritage. And crema catalana brings the story to a close. Cava, vermouth, and sangria tie it all together. Barcelona, a city meant to be read layer by layer. From historic streets to the shoreline, the city slowly reveals itself. If you enjoyed the journey, like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment. For our next stop, turn on notifications.